Today, I want to talk also about compassion fatigue. So, as a person on the path, as your empathy develops, as you start to cultivate a heart of loving kindness, as you start to give more than you take, what can happen a lot of times is that you end up depleting your own resource and it runs you down. So every day we're coming into contact with all kinds of dissonant energies. So, as human beings, we all sort of carry an energy, and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just gets transferred from one state to another. So there might be people carrying this heavy negative energy. And as someone who's empathic and someone on the path, like I said, who might have this ideological view that, I have to be compassionate, I have to help people, you end up taking on this energy, consciously or unconsciously. And what it does is it starts to run you down. Now, there's stories about priests. Like, I've heard a story which was spoken by another teacher, where he spoke about this priest who'd been in the seminary for 25 or 30 years and listening to confessions, and obviously he thinks he's doing a good thing. And what happens is he had started to absorb all this negative energy without having a resource to replenish it. And what had happened is his nervous system had become so frazzled from all this, because on the one hand there's the pressure to be there for his flock or the people he cares about and his duty, and on the other there's looking after his own well-being, which takes a back seat. And so we all, I think, people who are spiritually inclined will feel this, or will come into contact with this sort of dissonance, or this sort of struggle between those two things. And what should you do when that happens? And unfortunately, sometimes, though it might not sound very kind, is you have to withdraw from those situations. Like, right now we've got the war in Ukraine, we've got, tariffs which are coming in from the US, there's inflation, there's people losing their jobs, there's money worries, there's all these things coming at us non-stop, continuously. And if we don't have some way to actually come away from the stuff, because it's non-stop, right? If it's not, a war or people getting killed or this or that, it's something else. It's something with a family member, it's something in your own life, and it's just incessant. And a good way, obviously, is to have a daily practice. And sometimes you might need to get out of that environment. If you have a daily practice in the home, then if you can get away from the home and you can go into nature, and of course, when all this stuff's going on, right, when everything's pinging at you, you just think, I don't have time. I don't have time to go into nature. I don't have time to unwind. But the thing is, it's in that moment. So it's exactly in that moment where all these things are pinging at you, and you feel like, I don't have time. I can't take an hour or 2 hours to just find my balance, to find my energy, that you need to actually do that. Otherwise, what happens is, your nervous system is taking all this stress on, and it's becoming jangled, and it's becoming more jangled. And in the end, you just become ineffective. So there's a very nice story that the Buddha tells of the two acrobats. So I think the name of the acrobat was Mega Khalida or something like that, if my memory serves me well. So in India, in ancient India, they would have these shows where a man would walk a high wire with a child on his shoulders, and the child had to find his or her balance, and the man had to find his balance, and they would walk across this high wire in the sky as a spectacle. So this man gets this child, and they get on the high wire, and he says, "You look after me, and I'll look after you, and we'll walk across the wire." And the child says, "No, I'll look after my balance, and you look after your balance, and we'll get across the wire." So that's something to remember, is though all these things are coming at you, and you feel like you need to look after someone else, the first thing that you need to do is to look after yourself, to avoid this compassion fatigue. If you have a resource inside you, which you've developed through meditation, through making the mind happy, through doing things that make you happy, then you can be compassionate to others. But if that resource is completely depleted, and it does get depleted, it's not infinite, then you're no use to yourself, and you aren't any use to anyone else.